Welcome back to another episode of We Roguelike It, the show where we play every roguelike in history. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpier.
I hate you.
And Monkey Senior.
Hello.
We are on our third of 4 weeks of Vambrace Cold Soul, so it's the time where I ask the most important question of the show.
Monkey,
have you finished the game?
I have not. No.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't been playing it as much as I would be playing other games because of Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing is it.
Sure. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I played a good bit this week. I didn't know you can fail side quests.
I did not know that either.
Yeah, I've got a fun story about that in a minute.
Oh
no.
The one I did was the princess asked me to go find an artifact or something, and then I went to go talk to the merchant lady, and there was an option to mention the princess or not mention her.
Yes,
I didn't mention her, and then just got completely locked out of the quest.
Yep.
So
that's a really weird reward if you succeed, because I accidentally succeeded that side quest, and she just gives you a set of lingerie. And it's like,
okay.
Okay, and it's like a equipable outfit too.
Okay, so
just
now I'm locked out of an achievement. That's good to know.
Yeah, well, don't worry, you can't get that achievement on a single playthrough anyway.
I figured as much, because you get one specifically for trading the coin in at the beginning, the merchant's coin to the one faction, so I'm assuming that there is one for the second too. Need
a minimum of 3 playthroughs to get all the trophies or achievements.
That's
great.
Fun.
Yeah.
It's not like there aren't any other video games coming out ever. It's not like I have 300 games to play installed on my Xbox.
Right.
Yeah. What else did I do this week? So I replaced my lockpicker with a dragoon class, because I had I somehow got a class specific item, and I was like, I kind of want to use this, so I equipped it to him.
Yeah,
that makes it pretty good.
Yeah, those class specific items can kind of overpower classes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for the dragoon, I guess he has a taunt as his regular ultimate, I guess, move, his X move. And then upgraded, it makes the whole enemy team attack him, and he makes them weaker. Like their attacks weaker. So it's
the one I got for my hedge mage changes her default ultimate attack. It's on square for PS4.
Yeah.
Does it heals for 2, and then it heals for 1 for the next 2 turns. It changed that to healing for 4 and then healing for 2 for the next 4 turns.
Interesting.
Oh, wow.
Just wow, okay, so that makes that class way more useful.
Yeah, I saw that in the craftable things, and I was like, I'm gunning for that. Hopefully I can get whatever materials I need. I don't remember.
Yeah.
So I mentioned I replaced my lockpicker. That means I'm getting a lot less items.
A lot less gubbins from the chests.
Yeah.
And that I've been liking that a lot more, because I don't have to worry about weight.
Eventually I just stopped doing everything in the dungeon, because none of it was really that beneficial. All the stuff that I'm getting was fine, but I felt like I was always lacking so much stuff, because I could only carry 100 or whatever. And then all the events in the dungeon, almost all of them have an option where you're like, I don't even want to interact with this. And it's so safe by doing that, because it's not even, a lot of times if you succeed, it'll be like, plus 10 vigor. But if you fail, a lot of the negative effects are pretty bad, because it'd be like, you're chilled, or you're hallucinating, or one of these other kind of confusing status effects. It doesn't really make it worth it.
Yeah. Especially the chests one. I completely stopped trying to open chests, It
me too.
doesn't help that my highest lockpicking on my team right now is 1. So,
right.
But yeah, the mimics that you get with chests, those fracture you, I think, and that lowers your combat, and that's just
that
the
is
worst.
nasty. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, I don't like that. During surface cutscenes, Lyric goes to the front, and it doesn't automatically go back. That is so weird.
That's pretty annoying. I just eventually had to leave her in front. We're just like, I'm sick of moving her around. You can just stay up there.
Yeah. That's
Moon, I'll let you go next, and I'll go last here.
Honestly, I did a couple of runs. I didn't do a whole lot though. Like I can't even remember what chapter I'm up to. I think it's like 4 or something.
Are you on the 2nd or 3rd dungeon?
3rd.
Okay.
And did a couple of runs, but to be honest, I don't know if it was my brain. I don't know if it was the way I was playing, but I just kept I crushed the most recent dungeon, and then now it's just like I don't know if it's me. I don't know if I'm just being terrible, but I just ended up and the worst thing is it's because it always happens. Lyric is always the one who dies, so all of the other people are fine, but she's the one who dies, and then it's just like, see ya, back to the beginning you go. Bye. Yep. Have fun.
Thankfully, you keep your party members.
Yes, it keeps everybody else the same, but specifically her, it's just like, oh, she's down. Better go back to sleep again.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I've done some talking and stuff like that, but yeah, I'm just struggling with this dungeon. Like I said, it could just be my own personal brain situation. Be making terrible decisions, which I know I did a couple of times, because why did I just do that? I don't know why I did that. But I did it.
Why did I push that button?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's interesting that you've had Lyric die, because I haven't had Lyric die yet. Every time I've gotten close, I'm like, oh, out of the dungeon.
I haven't had anybody else die, period. I've only had her die.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's really weird.
On the PS4 version, it's really nice that if you are in, say, a boss battle where one of your party members you don't want to lose their artifact is about to die, you just close the app, fire it back up, and you're back in town with everything saved.
Oh, that's handy.
So you have this quick abort button where it's like, this is going real bad. I can't afford to lose this.
Interesting. I may have to remember that.
Good to know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Boston, you said you have tons of notes. Regale us with your notes.
I beat the game.
Oh, what?
So, I kind of... It's not super long. There are 5 dungeons overall.
Mm-hmm. Is this going to be the first We Roguelike it where we all beat the game?
I was worried about that this week, because the end of that game kind of wraps up pretty quickly. I do have a bone to pick with Vambrace, though, and I got... The stuff after the 3rd dungeon sucks, because you finish the 3rd dungeon and you're limping back to town, and then there's a story event where you have to play another dungeon. And it's just it's not super long, it's not super tough, but I barely scraped my way out of that boss battle.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran into a bug where I still have no idea what any of the status effects do in this game based on icons. It's so frustrating.
You have to pull now I have a party member screen and then hit left trigger and then scroll through them that way.
It's it pops up and it's I have a broken purple skull. And it's I don't know what is that? What am I? So my dwarf had a whole bunch of status effects on him as the boss died, and his health was really low. So I beat the boss. I talked to the boss because, it does the same thing where it's my soul is freed.
Yes.
Here's a legendary item. And then it switches to a scene where it sends me to town. And as soon as I go to town, my dwarf takes 2 damage, not in a fight, and dies.
Oh, because they were probably bleeding, and then they took that extra damage.
Yeah, or something. And I was just why? Why would you do this to me? So I've already had enough trouble leaving that dungeon, and now I'm down a party member. This is a really bad 1-2 punch here. The other thing too is when they die, you lose the artifact that he had, which was a purple one.
Which is good.
Yeah. That was not super happy about that. Fair warning about the 4th dungeon. That's a super high difficulty spike. For real.
Great.
Most of the trash mobs as you're going through are fine. There's like one of them that has found out if the enemy's portrait has like a green circle around it, that means they just have a ton of health.
Okay.
And the last dungeon also has a bunch of enemies that don't show you their health, which is so much fun. 2 notes, because the majority of the time I spent this week was fighting the mid boss on the 4th dungeon. Don't bother killing any of her ads. They all die when she does. Just pour damage into her and kill her as fast as you can, because any enemies you kill will get resurrected by her, and the healer heals the entire party. So it's just like you just need to pour damage into that boss and just hope for the best.
Good to know.
The final boss of that dungeon doesn't do that, but the final boss of the game does. So it's just like the level of inconsistency was pretty rough. Additionally, the final dungeon, the bonfires, all of the bonfires you run into, all the camping spots, will not let you heal or restore vigor until the very last one, which you have to rest at.
Okay.
So it's like, it's so weird because each floor of the dungeon is huge, but you don't want to explore them because you have to push to the end to restore all your stuff, and they don't let you know that this is going to happen. So I brought no healing items with me, because I found every floor in every dungeon has 2 bonfires in it. So why would I weigh myself down when I can restore 6 health and vigor every time? And Lyric by the end of the game had 44 health, so nothing was killing her. Because I found I think it was at the end of the 3rd dungeon, whatever choice I made, the item that they gave me just boosted her health by 23. Just like, okay, I'm definitely putting that on. So you push all the way to the end as fast as you can, and then I kind of wiped the floor with the final boss. It's a 2-phase boss. You beat it, and then he sort of goes like, "Oh, that's not my true power," and I won't spoil the final boss battle because they do something story-wise that kind of sucks, but it's an interesting idea. And then you basically get superpowered for the last phase. So the final boss had like 30 health maybe, and I'm hitting for 12 like every attack, and it's just like, okay, well that was easy. And then out of nowhere I get the evil ending.
Okay.
Even though I had sort of made friends with everybody, helped everybody, yeah, like I had made all the decisions that I thought were good, and I get the super, super duper evil ending because apparently I had accidentally not done like 2 side quests for some characters. So
yep,
I'm now the evil ending.
That's good to know. It's good to know exactly where your heart truly lies.
Right, with evil, yes. So apparently there are 3 endings, like good, evil, and kind of middle of the road. But I won't see the other 2 because I'm not in the mood to go back and play. I had such an easy time going through this game because I picked the dwarf, the one that avoids traps. So I kind of walked through every dungeon except for the 4th dungeon because there are false paths on the map, which is super great.
Wow.
Yeah, the ones there are a bunch of paths with green question marks on them, and I thought, my initial thought was like an FTL sort of thing where like I go through this path and maybe something happens on the way. But no, it's just maybe is or isn't a path.
Great.
Yeah. So the end of that game was just sort of like, all right, I'm moving on every time I hit a bonfire, hit both of those things, and kind of keep moving on. At the end of the day, I liked Vambrace, and I'm glad we played it, and I'll save my full impressions for the science episode. But man, this isn't really a roguelike. It's just one of those, not false advertisings, but like you're just random map generation doesn't really make a roguelike. And I understand why you put the buzzwords in there, but maybe not checking all the boxes here.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
bit of a bummer, but I'm kind of glad. Number one, I'm glad I finished one We Roguelike It game. I put that feather in my cap. And number two, kind of glad it wasn't super, super long. It was a pretty good length. So that's, I think that's it for this week for, We Roguelike It. It's, so I got 1 week left of, Vambrace Cold Soul to kind of rush through the rest of those dungeons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much everyone for listening. And we'll see you all next run. Bye.
bye.